All right, traders, happy Monday. Welcome to the Weekly Outlook. This is Chris Pulver here. Let's talk about all things stocks, forex, cryptos. Let's get right to it. So for the recording, hopefully the audio is better than last week. I think I found the root cause of that, so we should be good on the AV. Camera and everything looks good. And let's get into it. So today is President's Day. It's the 15th. Hopefully you all had a fantastic weekend and happy Valentine's Day to all you sweetness people out there. Let's go into President's Day. So Wall Street is closed, markets are closed, banks are closed, but we still want to do a weekly outlook to see what we have kicking for earnings this week, what the economic calendar looks like, and we'll take a look at stocks, forex, and cryptos. Okay. All right. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate that. If you're following me out there on social media, best place to follow me is on my YouTube channel. That is youtube.com/Chris Pulver, facebook.com, Chris Pulver Trading, everything else. If you'd like to send me comments or reach me, the best way to reach me is leave me a comment on my Facebook channel. If you watch a video, click on the description, leave a comment. Of course, I love it when you leave likes and thumbs up and click the notification bell so you can follow me and get the notifications when we go live on videos like this, which we are live on Mondays and Fridays. Mondays are weekly outlooks, Fridays are weekly recaps. But youtube.com/Chris Pulver. And if you want to send me direct messages, you can send me a direct message on Instagram. Follow me at pulver.chris. Also Twitter at pulverchris. I also am on, this is Twitch actually at Chris Pulver Trading and TikTok at Chris Pulver Trading. And I'm just getting everything to push into my YouTube channel. Okay. All right. So we're going to get into the charts today. Understand there's risk in trading. Please and always use trade capital only. Do not trade with money you cannot afford to lose. And let's get to it. So today is President's Day. Banks are closed, markets are closed, but I did want to take a look at everything. So I was looking at the currency market because Forex is still open. We have the pound on top. We have the CAD as well, which is good because I am currently short Aussie CAD and New Zealand CAD. Dollar is a little bit softer, but in the baseline level, we had a big slide to the downside on the JPY. So we're going to take a look at Japanese yen pairs today. Last week on Friday, I had some analysis on those JPY pairs where technically they look like they are overbought, they're overstretched, but we are not seeing tops and bottoms anytime soon. I'm not exactly sure what was causing this kick, but this is pretty much right when the market opened. A lot of weakness coming through in those JPY pairs. Okay. Not sure why the YouTube channel hasn't kicked off yet. Let me see here. youtube.com/Chris Pulver. I see I have some traders still waiting on me. We are live, so I'm going to click on this live here. There we go. So this should be live. Here's the link. We are live. There we go. So everyone should be able to click and join us live. Yep, perfect. Thanks, David. Okay, so we're looking at the JPY. The dollar is baseline. Volatility, we still have minimum upside movement as far as strength. The pound did okay coming out of the actual open last night. So Sunday evening U.S. time when Australia, New Zealand open up early on. That's around 5 p.m. Eastern time. So Sunday the pound started to get some strength. London session, a little bit of volatility, and we started to see around 5 a.m. more London session strength favoring the pound crosses. The euro and Swiss still stuck pretty much together. The dollar sitting around baseline, but a big move from last night's open all the way into current trading. The JPY has been extremely weak. So we'll take a look at that. Okay, stocks this week. Like I said, today is President's Day, so Wall Street is closed, banks are closed. We do have some earnings to note this week. This is a helpful little website, earningswhispers.com. You can take a look at the economic calendar, or the earnings calendar rather, and see that there are some notables. So we have CVS Health this week. Let's see here. Anything else that sticks out? There's quite a few, obviously. Franklin Electric. Anything else that sticks out? I don't recognize a lot of those companies. I mean, looking at the EPS and revenue, if you go into tomorrow's earnings calendar, Shopify, that'll be a notable one. Wingstop. Oh, the old Wingstop. I've been craving wings all weekend. I've been fighting the urge. I've been watching, I don't know if you check out this show on YouTube. It's called Hot Ones. I watch a lot of that. I think the guy, Sean Evans, does great interviews, and it's always fun to see somebody in a vulnerable state when they're eating excessively hot sauce. And I'm sure that, the Carolina Reaper is nothing to mess with. I don't want any interest in that, but I've been craving some wings. That's what it makes me think of when I watch that show, actually, is I'm hungry. So anyway, you can take a look at this, earningswhispers.com, and see what notable stick out this week. If I take a look at I should have a Robinhood newsletter today. They haven't posted it yet. Anything here from Morning Brew? Last week, NASDAQ was up. This is crazy. Year-to-date performance on the NASDAQ, 9.37% year-to-date. And we're we're exactly like a month and a half in. So 9.37 on the NASDAQ, 4.76 on the S&P. Dow is up 2.78. Gold is flat for the year. 10-year notes up to 1.2%. That's up 30 basis points for the year. Oil is still kicking strong. We're trying to press that $60. Oil's up 23% for the year so far. Which again, just continue that breakout from the $50 area. It's up towards almost $60. So just shy of or just over 20%. Any other notable earnings for this week that I want to see if they stand out? Let's see, anything notable wise. Stock Exchange, President's Day. New Zealand puts Auckland, its largest city, into lockdown. That's a big deal. Oh, okay. A strong earthquake off the coast of Japan left households without power, injured hundreds. More Japan news. Health officials there approve Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. That was news over the weekend. I saw that on Twitter, actually. So that could have something to do with the JPY getting weaker. That did happen back in 2011 and 12 as well. So anyway, but let's get into the charts. Let's take a look. I'll get rid of the little subgraph. I want to see where the stocks are at. So SPY-wise, from last week, let's go to the weekly candle. Okay. All right, Gary, you're good on this? Viraj, you're in? Okay, good. Just want to make sure everybody's in. Perfect. Okay, good. So the weekly chart on the SPY, we're going to take a look at the SPY, the DIA, and the QQQ. These morning Outlook sessions, I'm going to try to have these wrapped up in about 30 minutes. Even though we're live, it's going to be a pretty concentrated dose where we're just whipping through some stocks, notable earnings, and go into Forex, go into cryptos, and then I'll let you go. We can get about our day and start focusing on the week. For those of you that want to trade with me through the week on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I do have a flex trading room if you're interested. Many of you are probably in it. If you're not, then let me know. Leave a comment for me, and I will hook you up with that link, and you can join me. Okay, so SPY, we're still carving out. This is last week's candle, mind you. So last week's candle right here. Okay, pretty big push to the upside. So it was 2 weeks ago we had this very bullish push after a very bearish push. So bear candle kind of shocked the markets a little bit. Volatility spiked up to $37. That was on the VIX. You can see that 2 weeks in a row now we've had some bullishness, and the VIX has been pushed right back down to lows around $20. Now there are still lows from 2019 around $12, and there are still lows from 2008, 2009. Same thing on the VIX around like $10, $11, $12. So it seems like this melt up continues, and I keep saying this. I sound like a broken record. Don't fight it. If you are short-term, stay bullish on stocks. If you are short-term, try to find some good opportunities. Last week on Friday, we looked at a couple of stocks. It was SKLZ and ASE. Were two that I was interested in looking for some opportunities to buy this week. SKLZ. That is skills. If you play any games on your phone, this is actually a good-looking chart. So here is a pullback area on skills. If we get a pullback towards this gap, that's around 35. If we fill the gap, I'm looking for something around $32 and change. So what I talked about last week was a potential retest of this area. See if we can fill this gap, look for some bullishness, and then start looking at position one. If it falls back any lower, we do have a yearly pivot around $16 or $17. We could look at this overall movement as a swing, putting in a bit of a correction move. So if this was a swing and then an A, B, C, D move to fill this gap, look for something between $30 and around $15. Position one, position two, I'm looking to get long on SKLZ. If I have anybody in my high octane class, I'll be posting that video later this week for a week in review. Okay, yep, I know, Paul, I fixed it. It was hard to adjust on the fly last week when we were in session, but it was an easy fix. What happens is my software has my headset and it also has the default microphone, so it was running both of them at the same time. So it was an easy fix. But it was difficult to see it on the fly when I have 100 people watching and I don't want to shut the stream down and start over. So yeah, it should be good. Yep. So hey, after all, I can fix it. All right, so that's skills. I'm interested in that one for this week if I can get an entry. ASX. Nope, it's ASE actually. What's the ticker? ASE, ASX. I think it's ASX. Let's see. Here it is. ASE Technology Holdings. is at $8.68. I'm looking for a pullback. If we have a pullback somewhere around $7.50, small position, ideally we get something about half of this. We've gone from $4 to $9. So $4 to $9 is a $5 move. I would love to see something like a 38 to 50% pullback on ASX is the ticker. This is a Taiwanese semiconductor company that is looking for components that will go into Tesla. They will look at components that go into smartphones and laptops. And the price is not super expensive, and it's been much higher. Okay, so the reason I want to see a pullback here is what we discussed on Friday, is if this is resistance and we can fall back down. What I like about this is you have about 20 years of price history that if we could just look at buying this, around $6 and $4, you can play it to the upside for about a 20 to 30% move, and you could also, buy this nice and low for nearly a 100% move. So from $6 to $8, that's about a 30% move. From $4 to $8, that's a 100% move. And because this has a 20-year range, it would be nice to see if the range will hold. So I'm interested in seeing, last week's high, do we end up pulling back in to, fill some of these structures, fill some of these gaps, and then we can buy this nice and low once again. Okay, let's take a look at the Dow Jones. This is the DIA. This is going to look awfully similar to the SPY. I have all these horizontal lines. Okay. So 2 weeks ago, we had a big bullish push after the correction. This is about a 3% drop in the Dow, and it fought back and made a nearly 4% rally. The melt-up continues. Okay, QQQ, the NASDAQ, the same thing. This is some notes that we took last week on Friday. So entering in 2020, I was bearish. 2021, I'm long volatility. I know the market's overstretched. We have technical signs giving us a reason to think we're going to have a correction. But you know what? You have to remember that last year, this might be all the market needed to say, like, you know what, that was a correction. And the crappy part is that feels like a lot of us missed out. If you were not buying stocks last year in March, in April, in May, in June, in July, in August, if you weren't buying at any point in 2020, you certainly missed out on a major run. Now, they're still continuing. There's actually still a lot of stocks moving in 2021, but majority of the move was all, from that March low that pretty much every stock hit. So I am less bearish on the overall stock market, at least in the short term. I'm looking for more price confirmation. That means that stocks that are running really well and in profit, we're talking about trailing stop losses. We see a lot of stocks that are hitting new 52-week highs, new historical highs. Short term is stay bullish. And I know it feels weird to buy at the highs. I certainly don't like buying at the highs. So eventually, if we have a correction, and I don't know what's going to be the catalyst, as we talked about last week, I don't know what's going to be the catalyst for the stock market to drop. But if it just comes back down and plays the channel, we could see the same thing here. It comes back and retests, and then you see the bullish push, and it comes back down and it pushes up. And so we might have these little 2 to 3% dips, right? 2 to 3% and then a rally, 2 to 3% and then a rally. And eventually we get on the right-hand side of this channel, we set up some bearish structure, and then we start talking about a decent correction, a healthier correction back into previous highs, something like that. But I think that right now, if we're looking at channel play, it's going to be something like this. I think this channel is going to continue to dance around with support and resistance, right? And that allows prices to keep drifting higher. And then the bears will really start taking over on the right side of the channel. But until that confirmation happens, I am bullish in stocks. Okay. All right. Volatility index, take a look at this. This is the VIX, smashed back down to the lows at $20. If you look left on the chart, like I said, $12 lows. So I will be watching this. $20 has been holding pretty nicely. If we do end up breaking and going lower, okay, if we do end up breaking going lower, I will add another position on the VIX around $12. Okay, I will also be looking at some of the instruments that I'm holding long, like the VIXY, VIXY. We have lows from 2019 around $10.84. So let me set an alert in here. If we come back and tap these lows around, I'll put a chart line on $11. Okay, if we hit $11, back to lows. And I will add a little bit more into the VIXY. Now my break even already on the VIXY is around $16, and I think it's right around $16. And so I'm upset on a little bit, $12.89. If I can get back to 16, we have a yearly target, yearly pivot all the way up to $29 and change, nearly $30. So overall, my return, I'm looking for my position to give me some profits back up towards this yearly pivot. Now, how do we get there? We had a spike up to around just shy of $20 a few weeks back. Prices suppressing. If we form a falling wedge, similar to what we did here in 2019, this falling wedge could coil, and we could see this break to the upside for a nice volatile swing. I don't think we're going to get back to these highs necessarily like we did during the COVID crash, essentially from last year. But I do think we can come up and find a reasonable amount of volatility. And so I'll just keep setting chart alarms, set chart alarms above the highs at 18, set it at 25, set it at 30, and see where I can get some profits on the VIXY. Same thing on the VIX. Or I meant the VXX, sorry. The VXX. Setting some chart alarm lows around $13.30. See if we can hit those lows once again. Now, watch this structure. Right? Watch this overall structure. If you draw a trend line in here, we have not broken any major trend line structure, right? So could this be lows that are going to be holding or lows that are going to be breaking ever so slightly, coming back into these lows again, and then boop, we'll see if we can get a pop to the upside. Okay? So I'm really just watching my overall positions for volatility plays. This to me is essentially my hedge against shorting the stock market. I don't want to be short the stock market. I don't think that shorting the stock market right now is a good play. I'm seeing some big bets out there. I see a lot of put options that are going into place, calling some tops in the markets. That can be a very expensive endeavor. The probability of those trades paying out right now are pretty slim. So, obviously the risk reward is pretty fantastic, but I just think that you could also have all those type of plays expire worthless. Because who the heck knows? Like, who knows when the top is put in? Who knows what the buffet of bearish catalysts would need to be to have everything start to sink, right? To have everything start to tank and start going bearish again. I don't know what's going to take fundamentally to cause that. So I say we sit on the sidelines, riding our profits out, continuing to buy and protect and be short-term bullish and stay that way until the signs and the confirmation is there to be bearish. But in order to hedge, I'm looking at volatility, staying long volatility. Okay? All right, let's go through some currency pairs. I'm going to see how quickly I can get through as many currency pairs as possible. If I like the setup, we'll spend some more time on it. But for the most part, I'm going to try to do all my currency pairs very, very quickly, and we'll go through some cryptos, and I'll let you go. So like I said, I'm going to try to keep these sessions to about 30 minutes, right? Which means we're going to try to crank through about 28 currency pairs and cryptos in about 9 minutes. Okay? I think we can do it. All right, Aussie CAD. Pretty simple. If we break a trend line, I'm going to be short. If we come back to equal highs, I'm going to be short. All right, so essentially I'm looking at this. Equal high in Aussie CAD or some right side of the trend line on Aussie CAD, I'm going to be short, trying to target previous lows, yearly target around 92.50. So overall, my directional bias is short on Aussie CAD. I need some more confirmation on the right-hand side of the trend line to add to my trades. Aussie Swiss. This one may continue its melt up a little bit more. I did talk about this one last week. If we see the Aussie Swiss breaking back below this low, which is around 68.50, if we get back below this low at 68.50, a stop above, go after this low and see if we can put in a topping pattern on the Aussie Swiss. Another good play on this currency pair is the inverse correlation. If you are looking to short Aussie Swiss, another good play is you could be long Euro Aussie. Okay, so I would flip this, and we actually have some positions set up with our Price Action Pro. We're starting to look for some bullish confirmation anywhere below this low at 5,600. So we're currently at 55.96, which means this week, if we push a little bit lower, our robot's going to start looking for buy confirmation on a 1-hour chart, and we want to get some trades filled, get some trend line breaking, and we should see a nice little recovery on this Euro Aussie, hopefully back towards 1.60 or higher. Okay, so I like Aussie Swiss to the downside with confirmation. I like Euro Aussie to the upside with confirmation and some trend line breaking there. Okay, Aussie Swiss, let's go Aussie Yen. Aussie Yen, big push to the upside. We did modify the price action for robot last week for a confirmation below 80.60. That is not triggered yet. We're still sitting and waiting. So I'm curious, based on this, if we have divergence and we have overbought conditions, is this enough to technically start putting in a bit more of a top? Yes, like technically we can start seeing some highs forming. But is it happening right now? No, and we won't get filled on this until it comes back below 80.60. So to the Aussie Yen, I just continue to wait a little bit. Perhaps we come up a little bit higher towards 82 or 83, but I think for right now, I would just be waiting for that 80-60 level to clearly break. Otherwise, it's bullish and stay with those short-term movements. Aussie New Zealand. 107.50, and I did take profit on Friday, like I said. We did have a push to the upside. We nearly got to 108. So there is a bit of a gap right there, 107.71. I had a chart alarm set at 107.75 and 10800. So I did take some profit before end of day on Friday, which was around 107.60. So that was around, for the two positions, it was like plus 80 and plus 150. So just over 200 pips between the two trades, and that's fine. And I'm looking to reassess this Aussie New Zealand. Hopefully, we will buy this one at better prices. Hopefully, I'll start getting some accumulated positions down here between 105 and 102, and I can start buying this more of a long-term trade to the upside. Okay, Aussie dollar. Let's see here. Aussie dollar. I'm looking for this one to do one of two things. One is either, let me check something here. Aussie dollar should be good on the audio here. Yes. Okay. This should be better. We should have, if there's an echo, we should be able to get rid of it now, yeah? Okay, I see the echoes there. I'm sorry, I'm just going through the curve. We should have a good audio now. Okay, Aussie dollar, here's what I'm looking for. If we revisit this high, I have a small sell trade. If we come back up and slowly work our way towards 8,000, 8,100, I'm still looking for sell trades. Okay, so I'm short Aussie dollar. Now we might have this consolidate like so. We could come up and tap the highs, come back down to these lows, and then start to break. This could be a double top pattern that sets up. Okay, yep. This software like gives me 3 camera options, and some of those cameras have microphones and then my headset. So anyway, sorry if it was the echo again, but we should be good. All right, so Aussie dollar looking to stay short. Traders know that. I'm going to short it again around 78.10, 78.15, and see if we can take this back down towards 75.50. Ideally, I'm going to stay bearish on this one until we hit 7,400, at least towards 7,400. Okay, so if it's somewhere in this upper area, 8,000 or 8,100, I'm looking for a bigger sell trade on Aussie dollar back down towards 7,400. Okay, CAD Swiss, this one is pretty uneventful. If the CAD's able to get stronger, I'm still long on my CAD Swiss towards 7,100. So I remain long since 69.50 going up towards 7,100. Chart alarms are set up there. I'll start taking some profit. Otherwise, it's still range bound, right? We have a lot of support resistance in here. We could have another rejection. CAD comes back down. Correlation you want to watch this week on the Canadian dollar is also oil. Okay, we'll flip over to oil really quickly. Oil's at $60.22. Okay, so we have talked about this. $60 is a round number. $64, we're talking about 2019 highs. So could we come back up into this resistance around $64? Absolutely. But this stretch move could also be faced with a ton of resistance and oil slides back down. All right, so I think oil between $60 and $52, or let's say 65, between 65 and 52, I think oil is going to establish another range for us to trade. So that means the next direction is oil might creep a little bit higher, hit resistance, and then we start to break back down. So that should be a pretty profitable trade if and when we see some topping patterns or some rejection candles. Look for that resistance around $64 and $65. That will affect the dollar Canadian. That will affect Canadian dollar in general. So CAD Swiss, let's see what it does. If the Swiss stays weak enough and the CAD is strong, then let's get to 7,100 to take some profit. This pocket is around 7,130, so I still hold long, looking for the CAD Swiss to hit that level. CAD Yen, big breakout to the upside today. Again, I don't know if this is the earthquake that's pushing the JPY very, very weak, but if the JPY is going to stay weak and the CAD is going to fill this pocket, we could see the CAD Yen drift up towards 84. Okay, if it drifts up towards 84, finds these highs, don't be surprised if we hit these highs and then we start falling back down. So in the event, right now would be if you're still long from this channel or from this rising wedge, like we're just kind of breaking to the upside. We are heading back into some pockets, heading back into previous highs. Look for this to keep staying bullish, but again, you're protecting profits in this area. If it hits 84, if it hits 85, okay, I'm looking for opportunities to sell back into today's breakout. Today's candle is a very obvious breakout candle. Today's candle is pretty obviously inefficient. So let it find a high. Let's see that it's overbought in divergence, which it certainly will be very close to that by the end of today, or if it gets up to these highs, we're looking for divergence and overbought conditions on a daily chart. All right, so make a note of that for my flex traders out there. We might be looking at that one tomorrow in session. Okay, Swiss yen is at 118.31. Again, I'm not really worried about our position at 117.50. We're going to look at selling this again around 120, 120.00. So in the event that we are going to push up a little bit higher, okay, fine. But if it pushes up higher, 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 higher with inefficiencies, then I'm looking to fade that move, especially on the Swiss yen. I'll fade that move back down. So I'm not going to get in right away. I think if we go to 120, 121, I'll start looking for some small entries at better prices. Okay, but I'm going to still hold that 117.55 sell trade that we took last week or a couple weeks ago. Euro Aussie, we already talked about this one. Euro Aussie, I want to see some movement on the right-hand side of the trend line to get long. My trade here is once we get some confirmation, we should be looking to get a turn, take this back towards 160 or 161. Okay, EuroCAD. I know we're moving fast here, but you can always watch the recording. I'm just trying to, appreciate everybody's time here. Make sure we're not going to drag these sessions out too long for a live session. EuroCAD, still range bound. This one might be range bound here, range bound here. If it's going to break a little bit lower, we could fall into 1.51. Depending on how this trade behaves, if it falls down into 151, even down into 148 to 146, I would love to see us get some sell trades going to the downside to see a trend actually kicking in on the EuroCAD. But eventually, between this area and this area, I'm a buyer, and I think this thing comes all the way back up and stays in some type of range. So for right now, I'm letting some of my range robots like my Range Storm, Active Storm, Equalizer, those robots are killing this thing, just having all this chop and trading it. But if we break to the downside, I will look at this as a way to accumulate some small positions and use the pockets to trade back to, but I think we can take advantage of a break coming. Now, we also are long CAD Swiss. So if our Euro CAD drops down, that means our CAD Swiss goes up. And so we get paid on CAD Swiss, and then we can assess and we can position ourselves for the Euro CAD to buy this, right? So we're going to get paid on CAD Swiss if this drops, which is a good thing. I think that's a good position for us. Euro Swiss 107.95. Just leave it alone. If it comes down to 107.50, I'm buying it again. Take profit above 108.30. If we break above 108.30, 108.50, I want to see some daily closes above this level. We're heading up towards 110.50. So this is like the most boring trade in the world, but eventually when it hits 110.50, we're going to get paid a lot of money on it. Okay, Euro Pound, I skipped that one. Euro Pound, pound is still strong. Pound is still drifting lower. So we've been talking about a short since we stopped out of this trade right here. If you reversed with me, Euro Pound reversed to the downside. Okay, target we're almost there. We're almost to these previous lows. We also talked about 8,400. So if you are trading this one, you are liking this bearish move. If you're trading pound Swiss, you're liking that bullish move. Okay, so you should be either Euro pound short or pound Swiss long from a couple weeks ago when we had this support level break. Euro yen, JPY is still pushing. Watch today's candle. Okay, if it pushes aggressively, there's going to be a pocket right there that I'm watching. If it pushes really high, look for our overbought conditions and divergence. Most likely that Euro yen will come back down. Okay, but if you look left, we may find the Euro yen up towards this pocket area and the 2020 yearly pivot, which is around 129.00. Euro New Zealand, this one is almost identical to the Euro Aussie. Okay, waiting and seeing if we have a break there. So it's really simple. If we break the trend line, I like the trade. Okay, so I do have a robot set up on this one. If we come into some lows, we're looking for some bullish support. We're looking for some breaks of the trend line, and then we'll get long on Euro New Zealand. Euro dollar, staying out of this one for right now. I think that the dollar could still win this trade and still push us a little bit lower, but if you ask me what I like better, I like the dollar Swiss better. Pound Aussie. I don't really like the pound Aussie where it sits right now. Pound Canadian dollar, I don't like where the pound CAD sits right now. We have strong CAD and strong pound. Okay, what we have been doing really well is we've been seeing some pretty good trades running every single morning with the London session, right? The London session, those little breakouts, 10 pip breakouts. If we get pullbacks, we have 10, a pullback, and we add up, 35 pips for the day. Last week, I think I had just on pound crosses alone, like 290 pips in the week or 300 pips for the week, just last week. So that little London session breakout on pound crosses is certainly working really nicely. It's still a low volatility environment. Our daily trading ranges are still really, really low, but we can still grab those little breakouts for 10 to 15 to 20 pips, right? Pound CAD, I'm going to leave it alone. Pound Swiss, like I said, this one we could be long. We have a nice clean breakout here around 2,200. Okay, there's room to move up towards 25 and change. So if I am long, I'm looking for, this was a little pullback we looked at last week, and we are looking for this to continue higher. So long pound Swiss, look at this level there. Look at that pocket all the way back up towards, ideally, I'd love to hold this thing long towards 1.30. But I think what my plan is if we are long, the plan is to get it up into this area here and move a stop loss into the money. Like move your stop loss and trail it. And if it keeps going, let's keep trailing. All right. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to sit here and keep buying, keep buying, keep buying, keep buying, keep buying. What I'd rather do is eliminate the risk, let it trail, and see if we can get lucky on the excess run. Because this could also come right back into this area here and pull back. Okay. So I'm liking the long position and eliminating risk and moving trailing stop losses to make sure you're protecting your profits. Pound yen. Pound yen still hasn't broken the trend line. We're not shorting this one yet. I would look at last week's low. I mean, after today's candle, we might even look at this. Today's daily low, or we can look at this week's candle as well. But the yen pairs are really weak at this time. Pound New Zealand's, leave it alone. Pound New Zealand's really choppy. It looks like it's trying to break this resistance here. I'm not going to trust the Pound New Zealand because we do see some stronger Kiwi as well as stronger pound. So I'm just going to leave this one alone and let my little robot trade that London session breakout and not try to be a position trader in this one. If I'm going to position trade the Pound New Zealand, this is what I want to see. I want to see this little correction to the upside push down one more time into these lows or into these lows, and then Pound New Zealand we will look at buying. I think we can get a trade around 8,300 to 8,000. We could take this all the way up to that 9,800 yearly pivot. All right. But if I'm wrong on that, if it just keeps, breaking out here, open space to the upside, then that's the pound getting a lot stronger over the Kiwi. But I don't necessarily see that happening right now. I think both Aussie and New Zealand are strong. Pound is strong, and so it's going to be a bit of a fight on those currency pairs. Pound dollar still pushing higher. I said look for 1.40 last week, right? We're nearly at 3,900. So if we get to 1.40, let's watch this pound dollar. I think between 4,000 and 4,200. Look left of this pocket. Between 4,000 and 4,300. We're looking for major resistance on this pound dollar. Okay. All right, we're going to keep cruising through. 91.34. Come on, man. This New Zealand CAD is killing me. You're killing me, Smalls. Left shoulder, head to neckline, right shoulder. Can you hold this right shoulder and break? If so, I love short of New Zealand CAD. I want to take this down towards 8,900. If it comes up one more time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a three-wave. What is it called? Three-wave drive, three-drive pattern. That's what it is. Three-drive pattern. A three-drive pattern, and then we look for the short. So I'm still going to be short. We have some excellent bearish harmonic patterns on higher time frames. So either this is a head and shoulders or it's a three-drive pattern. Both point to bearish movement. New Zealand Swiss, leave it alone. New Zealand yen for right now in the channel, it remains bullish. Remains bullish right now. How much higher is it going to go? I don't know, maybe the top of the channel, maybe around 7,700, maybe 7,750. I would be more interested in shorting this one either at the top of this channel, maybe around 7,800, maybe the round number at 8,000 if it really stretches away on a weaker JPY, and then we start looking at getting in early. Otherwise, on the right side of the channel, I'll start shorting. Okay, but it remains pretty bullish right now. New Zealand dollar, a lot of pausing going on here. Okay, are we going to see a high-low consolidation and then we end up breaking back down? I think that there's a lot of correctional space down towards 6,800 on this Kiwi. Okay, so I'm still holding a lot of my dollar crosses to favor dollar strength. Now this might go up to 74. It may go up to 75 and 76. If you look back on this chart, higher time frame, way back here, 74 and change, highs from 2017 are on 75.50. So it may require some smaller add-in trades up in this resistance zone, but I think from here, either we're going to come back down into this area around 7,000, maybe even 6,800. And that's what I continue to hold for. I'm holding for that right now. So 68 would be awesome for profits. 7,000 would be, you know what, I'm fine with that too, because we're not even in this trade until like 72 and change. Dollar CAD, we're at 26.40. I'm holding a small position at 27.55, and I'm okay with that because we might see this oil move, right? The oil move at $60 to $64. If and when oil hits resistance and starts to fall, expect this dollar CAD to turn as well. So when oil sees resistance, look for a dollar CAD to see support and see the dollar actually gain some strength on this one. Now, where is that? It may be at this low. It may be at a slightly lower low, and then we see a reversal pattern pop up. So we might be looking at some type of head and shoulders pattern like this. Connect the highs, left shoulder, head to neckline, very deep right shoulder, if it's a right shoulder, and we start to push up. It may also be that 3 drive pattern where it pushes down one more time, then it reverses, and we look for this structure to break overall. All right, and that dollar CAD should take us into 1.30, possibly even back into 1.34. But we're going to have to be patient. I've said that for the last month on these dollar crosses. Dollar Swiss 89.02. We had a bit of a reset to the backside of the neckline. I still like long on the dollar Swiss. There's your neckline, left shoulder, head to neckline. We break, we pull back. It's noisy right here on the right shoulder. It's going to be a lot clearer when we get on the right-hand side of the trend line. So you know what? The reality is we might have to let this thing stay choppy, stay crappy, whatever you want to call it. Eventually, we end up getting on the right-hand side of the trend line. We can see how this thing can build its way into yearly target, pocket levels, and have a big reversal. All right? But if it's going to stay with the pattern, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we could still make a run towards that yearly target, around 92. So this trade's not done, and I'm still holding long on that dollar Swiss. Okay, dollar yen. Big move on the dollar yen. It came back. This is actually perfect last week. I hate the dollar yen, and I've stayed out of it. We did make some money on the upside a couple weeks back. We made some money here on the breakout. We got back in, took a small loss, but we're still positive overall. I did say that if we're bouncing off the backside of this trend line, I'd like to see if the dollar yen can prove it wants to go higher. Okay, we might be looking at that early move where, you know what, maybe this yen, the yen is a real thing. Maybe the yen weakness is here for the next couple of weeks. If so, then the dollar yen does have open space on the right side of this channel to stay weak. And a weaker yen offers the dollar yen a chance to run to 109 and all the way back up towards 110 and change as well. Okay, so, you know, again, I think right now it's a mindset, right? If you want to be long against the yen, like Aussie yen, New Zealand yen, pound yen, those are risk-on type currency pairs. They will probably perform better if the JPY stays weaker. Swiss yen, dollar yen, they're not really going to have that separation. Now, if you look at today's currency strength, obviously it's way different, right? Today's currency strength is crazy weak. So it's, you know, everything against the yen makes it look like an easy trade. But I'm just saying, if the Aussie's going to stay pretty strong, if the CAD's going to stay pretty strong, the New Zealand's going to stay pretty strong, that would be the best way to exploit the move against the yen. The dollar and the Swiss might be a little bit softer. Okay, that's all. All right, and let's go into some cryptos here. Just take a little glance at the cryptos, and let's see what we have, and then I'll wrap things up. Okay, so we're at $47,800 on Bitcoin. Can we tap the old 50K mark? We had highs last week around, actually the weekend. Look at this. This is the weekend trade. Cryptos is open 24 hours and 7 days a week. So cryptos is a truly 24-hour market. Forex is a 24-hour market, 5.5 days a week, and stocks is around 16 hours or so between pre and post market moves. Let's see here, $49,800. So can we get to 50K? Is 50K going to be resistance, or can we get to 50K and can we break through it? You know, we are still quite a bit overstretched from our mining costs around $16,000. So if this is a higher high in price, and you see this alongside a divergent print, right? Like this high, there's some slight disagreement there. There are certainly overbought conditions once again. So don't be surprised if this hesitation starts to fall back down. Okay, but I could be totally wrong. This might not follow the technicals at all, and this could just stretch away, and eventually we'll probably come all the way back down. You know, we might come back down to 30K again. We might come back down to 20K. You know, what cryptos tend to do is they tend to find these mining cost levels. Okay, but there's a lot of money getting pumped into these, and there's a lot of speculation on where they can go. I think everybody's excited. Okay, but the reality is, if it is going to pull back, be ready for that. If it's going to go higher, be ready for that. Like, watch it, cheer it on, have some fun with it. But if it's going to pull back, don't freak out. Okay, and the question is, do I take profit? I mean, if you want to take profit here, what if it goes higher? Then you're going to kick yourself, right? If you're going to take partial profits here and it goes higher, at least you can stay in the game. If you're going to take profit here and it pulls back, well, that's fine. You're going to be happy that you took profit. But we don't know. We don't know what it's going to do. You know, I mean, irrationally, it could go higher. You know, and everybody hopes it's going to go higher. So let's see what it does. Ethereum, we're at 1797. We had highs off of the 1880 level, so we're still shy of 2,000 on Ethereum. Litecoin recently broke some highs. This is a good sign. 186. We had highs up to 230. Ooh, Litecoin really creeping up there. Okay, 2018 highs are over $400. So if Litecoin can keep tracking, that would be a pretty fantastic run to hit those 2018 highs on Litecoin. Okay, so watching that one. Ripple. Ripple is at 56 cents with some spikes up towards 64 cents. So Ripple is definitely showing some more signs of life, outside of the 20-cent lows, outside of this little volatility move from the SEC probe. Some good stability and higher highs. So, 30 cents to 40 cents to 50 cents. Let's see if we can get back up and crack these 70-some cent highs. And Ripple again, if it ever gets to 2018 highs, that is $3 and change. Link. $33. Wow, that's big. $33. Link is still chugging away. That's awesome. Okay, fantastic. And BAT USD, that's the basic attention token. Big volatility in this one. We had quite a nasty pullback. So last week my BAT was up. I'm in this thing around 21 cents, and it's up to 73 cents over the weekend, and we ended up pulling back towards 55. So again, but if this is any structure, maybe this is a low to high swing, maybe a pullback for some stability, and we start to see higher highs. So, it's just my little portfolio here. I'm just going through some of the coins that I'm in. And then I'm in one more that's XLM USD, that is Stellar Lumens. And that's my crypto. Stellar Lumens at 52 cents. Okay. Okay, video's fuzzy. Check the you can check the audio or the AV settings on your YouTube channel. You can bump up the quality. I should be pushing this thing at like 1080 at least. My camera's it's a 4K camera, so I should have as good of a quality as I can give. Okay, any questions? Look, I know that we went super fast. We took about 45 minutes for the live session, but I got through, the major indices, where we're looking for the SPY, path of least resistance, watching volatility. We went through all 28 currency pairs and went through about 8 to 9 cryptos. Okay, so that's what I want to do. It's going to be a very, accelerated session on Mondays for the weekly outlook. That way I can, post this as a recording, and it's something you can digest and get ready to trade with me for the week. If you're interested out there, I know many of you are already in the Flex trading room, but you can simply search it out there, and we have something through the Smart Trader charting platform. If you want to subscribe, you can trade with me Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. We trade live in a room. We have about 1,100 traders that trade every single day. We have a ton of fun. We have a great community. And if you're interested, let me know. Like I said, leave me a comment in my YouTube channel. So it's right here. So if you like the video, I appreciate the thumbs up and all the likes for today's session. If you are a subscriber to the channel, make sure you have that notification bell clicked so when we go live on sessions like Mondays and Fridays, I'll pop up on your phone or pop up on your computer that we're going live, and you can join me. So youtube.com/Chris Pulver, and that's the main channel I'm pushing everything through. And you can follow me out there everywhere. But if you want to contact me, leave a comment for me on the YouTube channel. You can also direct message me on Instagram if you follow me at pulver.chris. Okay, so like I said, concentrated session. If you need to watch it again and go through those currency pairs, take some screenshots, you can. But yeah, we're going to trade together Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for the Flex Room. If you're interested, just search it out. Let me know. Leave me a comment. Have a fantastic Monday. Happy President's Day. Hope you all had a great weekend, and let's look forward to a great trading week. Okay, take care, traders. I'll see you all on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for the Flex Room, and then we'll be back on YouTube and the other channels on Friday, same time, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time for a weekly recap. Okay, all right, take care. Talk to you soon. Bye.